All right, there we go. Go live. And here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Happy Hour podcast. Of course, I'm Ray. Unfortunately, this week, Matt could not join us. Matt texted me just probably about 2 hours ago, said that his kiddos were sick.
He doesn't have a monkeypox, does he?
No, he doesn't have.
Oh,
Matt
okay.
Matt does kind of look a little bit like a monkey.
You know, monkeypox is spread, right?
Yeah.
It's spread through gay anal sex. Right? Thoughts? Any thoughts on that, Ray?
No. But anyways, this is the Happy Hour podcast. And real quick, what I want to do right off the jump is shout out to Team Skeet. So as we know, right here is this little gimmick that they sent us right here, the little, director thing. Shout out to Team Skeet. They just released Shoot Your Shot today. And they gave us a little bit of access at teamskeet.com. To actually send them a review of Shoot Your Shot, which I watched earlier, and sent them a review of Shoot Your Shot. So shout out to them. Make sure you go over to teamskeet.com. And of course, Socrates is with me tonight because Matt's not here.
So when I shoot my shot, the girl has to wipe her face off. High priest in the house. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
And of course, Socrates, you might see part of his arm tonight, but of course he's very sensitive to light, so he cannot see, he cannot look at the screen, or else it will hurt his blind eyes. We were talking a little bit earlier, it's funny because I proclaim that you're really blind, but the fact is you're not. You have 20/20 vision.
Yeah, I'm just sensitive to light, and I can't move my eyeballs.
Wait, what do you mean you can't move your eyeballs?
I literally can't. I can't. That's why I can't really read anymore.
Oh.
I have a neurological thing, and my actual vision is still fine. I just, I'm sensitive to light, and I can't.
So your eyes are stuck in one position at any given time.
Pretty much. I mean, I can move them, but it'll fuck me up and cause me pain.
So I guess if you get kicked in the head by a mule, will that correct that problem, or will they both get stuck sideways or something like that?
I'll have to try it sometime.
And of course, we are on the brink of we are starting 4th of July weekend. So happy 4th of July to everybody out there. Of course, you see me with my patriotic Ultimate Warrior shirt and my Captain America hat. Of course, with so much going on, I'm not really too sure if I even want to be wearing the colors of America, but that's something to discuss on a different day.
Got it all under control. We're fine.
That's something to discuss on a different day.
My favorite 4th of July was in 2000, right? At the Ravens Stadium. It was Metallica, Korn, and Kid Rock.
Oh man,
hell of a lineup.
That's a pretty solid fucking lineup. I've never really been a big fireworks guy. I'm one of those. If I've seen fireworks once, I've seen them a half dozen times. I remember them going off in Ocean City. I don't remember seeing them because I was so drunk in Ocean City. Yes, yeah. My wife likes going to the O's post game fireworks when they do.
But I can't see them now because I can't look up.
Yeah, it all just looks. You look at the field. You see the same thing you see.
Unless the fireworks are coming, 6 feet in the air, then I'm pretty much screwed.
Yeah, your head can't. So your eyes are stuck in one position, your neck's stuck in one position. Much. You're pretty much give it another year or two, and you're gonna be like a ventriloquist dummy. Someone's just gonna we're gonna be able to just shove our hand up your ass, and then just play you like a puppet, right here on YouTube Live.
I'm not into that kind of party. But, we got fire. Remember one time in 98 for my backyard fed. We got fireworks because my one buddy went to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And he got a bunch of them. So we had pyro when it came out. And picture this.
Wait. So he had pyro in a backyard fed.
Yes.
How did you do pyro in a backyard fed? Now, of course, everybody check out the War Pigs episodes because Socrates did tell the story of when they poured gasoline on a table instead of lighter fluid, and he caught himself on fire. But how do you have pyro during backyard?
Picture this. Our entryway was basically my back door and my porch with a little curtain hanging on it. Okay. So we had the little fireworks set on each side, and we didn't think it was almost a Great White situation because when we lit the pyro, the fucking curtain, the entryway curtain caught on fire. So we had to get a big jug of water and put it out. At least we were outside though. If we'd have been inside, it could have been a lot worse. But that was our pyro. That was our expensive 1998 fireworks. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say, hey, you went to this one of those places, and like you had like someone tie all the fuses together and you lit them, and then there's just Roman candles going off as somebody, like basically someone comes out like Goldberg, but with Roman candles firing off of. I don't know if you've ever been shot with a Roman candle. I have, and it does not feel pleasant. Like that's it. There was the one time, and
there was the one time. I remember in Lunar's 4th of July party the one year when we had the fireworks out in the parking lot.
Oh yeah,
I tried to jump over the one as it was going off, and it singed me right on the fucking balls. It literally singed my nut hair. I was like, that could have been a lot worse.
There was one where me and Blood stuck a Roman candle down the back of Johnny Monster's pants, and it was firing. Yeah, you were there for that. Yeah. But no, I mean that's the thing. Like people are gonna lose fingers. It's just
if you're gonna handle. Here's my advice. If you're gonna handle fireworks this weekend, do it very drunk. And very carefully.
Yeah, yes, very drunk and very carefully.
Hey, I wrestled drunk for 20 years. Well,
I mean, Jake Roberts wrestled drunk for like 40 years, and I mean, no one could tell if he was drunk or if he was sober. So
he was totally sober when he worked Chase Rawlings, what I heard.
Yeah,
he was fine.
Well, he had that a week after that.
The commission cleared him.
Oh yeah, the commission cleared him after a lot of bribery and a fine and all that shit. But real quick, shout out to our featured drink this week. Of course, it's original Sinn Fuji unfiltered cider. So we debuted. Yeah, wait a minute.
Let me. Original Sinn Fuji unfiltered cider.
Yes,
that's
Mr. Fuji unfiltered. It's Mr. No, it's Mr. Fuji uncensored.
Okay, I'll be damned. It is.
Yeah, it's Mr. Fuji. You never heard of a Fuji apple?
Yeah.
It's Fuji apples. Okay, yeah. So, and of course,
before you drink it, do you have to throw the ceremonial salt?
Yeah. You have to do the Yokozuna salt to the eyes, and it's like, oh god. Like,
at least it's not the Old Bay to the eyes. Like I took from what was his name? Chris from EWA.
Chris Burns?
No, not Burns. The guy through the Old Bay.
Oh, Chris Kushner.
Yeah.
Did you not close your eyes when he did? Oh, yeah, that's right. They're stuck in one position.
Well, no. I did close my eyes, but like just a little bit got in there. So I rode outside, and there was a bottle of water sitting right next to the ring. So I took the water to pour in my eyes, and I felt something like how do I describe it? Like very viscous in there.
Viscous.
Somebody had spit in the water, so I was pouring spit in my eyes. So the only thing worse than Old Bay in the eyes is Old Bay in the eyes followed by spit in the eyes.
Are you sure it was spit and that someone didn't just drop a load in that
here's
bottle?
How I know. Remember that one fat kid that always used to come to the shows? He had like the shaved head. He was always sitting like up front. You know what I'm talking about?
Buddy. Was that Buddy?
No, one Buddy. No. I can't remember his name. But anyway, he comes to me after the show. He's like, Socrates, he's like, I gotta tell you something. He's like, that water that you poured
Socrates, I have no penis.
So he's like, I spit in that water. I was like, yeah, no shit. I know somebody did. Well,
he's right sitting there. He's like, yes, he poured my spit into his eyes.
You remember when Brett spit on Vincent for the screw job?
Oh yeah.
I was with a chick one time, Tori actually. And we did a spot where she spit in my face.
You did a spot.
Yeah, we did a spot where she spit in my face.
Yeah,
but she got me right in the eye.
A spot.
Yeah, she got me right in the eye. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was like, if I catch something, if I get like pink eye, I'm going to beat your ass.
If I get AIDS in my one eye.
If I get monkeypox in my eyes.
And that can happen because when I used to come down to the ring, I used to use one of those grenade horns, aka the Vavazula. And Socrates gave that horn AIDS because I didn't get booked that show, and Socrates came down to the ring with blood, and he was using it. And I remember I was recording the match, and I remember saying that horn now officially has AIDS. And I remember saying
much
that
like
100%.
When I bled Corey Bush's mouth, so now he has AIDS. He doesn't know it yet.
Could you imagine that? Like at the moment you figure out, but see, here's the thing though with wrestling, you can't be creeped out by that because you know how much blood has gotten in each other's mouths and like all that stuff just from wrestling in general.
I mean, like it was literally just dripping.
You poured a vat of blood into his mouth. Like it's kind of like a blood drive. You took a bag of blood from a blood drive and you like put the thing in his mouth and then you stepped on it and the blood just shot down his fucking throat.
He was like Socrates, if I catch something, I'm gonna kill you. I was like, well, I did just bang a thotty last night.
Well, I did just have a thought spit in my eye, and I may possibly have AIDS. Have you talked to Chase Rawlings' horn yet? You might want to ask its opinion.
Do you know how monkeypox is spread?
Yes, through AIDS. It's spread through AIDS.
Anal sex and rape. Any comments on that, man?
Dude, that's a bad. Like, could you imagine that? Like, you get those like boils over your body. Like, you wake up and you look like a damn. Like you remember Power Rangers? Like when we were kids. Did you ever see the villain Eye Guy?
Yeah.
Like you wake up looking like fucking Eye Guy. Like
well, you know what? I haven't fucked any monkeys lately, so I think I'm good. Lately.
You like those little spider monkeys, didn't you? Like
yeah, they got them little fingers.
Yeah, little furry
Imagine
fingers.
if you tried to fuck a chimp. It would just tear your face off.
A chimp would just tear your face off just for the cons. Hey, that's one thing I don't get. And I talk about this a lot, is that people who have pet monkeys, like I see videos all the time. Someone's like, oh, look at that cute monkey. No, fuck that. That thing will rip the front of your fucking skull off. That will happen. And they will not give a flying fuck. 1 minute they're sitting there next to you and you're petting them and they're eating a banana. And then the next minute they're eating your face. And that's just the way it works, because the monkey just wants to fucking kill you. Yes. And I mean, and anyways, back to our featured drink, which is Original Sin Fuji Unfiltered Cider. We apologize. We did not get the images taken with the beer last week. So I will be uploading this onto the website tonight. And in case you missed it last week, here's the description of the beer. So Fuji apple, 1930s, Fujisaki, Japan. The iconic apple has both a Japanese heritage and a U.S. genetic pedigree. The Fuji apple was developed by growers at the Takahuku Research Station.
Growers? It's growers.
Oh yeah, growers.
growers.
I'm reading it sideways. Growers at the Takahuku Research Station in Japan, and is a cross of two American apple varieties, Red Delicious and the Virginia Rawls Janet. Yes. Introduced into the United States in the 1960s, this variety has become one of the most popular apples in our country. Mr. Fuji is sweet, with a dense flesh and excellent storage qualities. He will throw salt into your eyes. One Fuji apple can give you as much as 15% of your daily requirement of vitamin C. However, Mr. Fuji will throw salt in your eyes and give you a little bit of vitamin D. I always
if I were to drink that, would my Original Sin be relapsing tonight?
That's probably what it would be. But I mean, and one thing is that it's Original Sin, and tonight our special featured guest is Sin Sage.
So
yes,
yes,
I
this
am.
Is why you're a professional podcast host. This is why we're in the top 500 podcasts.
And you know
in
what?
America.
I got this from the store last week, and I didn't even think about it until now. I heard Original Sin. I'm like, Sin Sage. So that's our guest tonight. But I mean, definitely, of course, shout out to everybody who tunes in every week and tunes in to the show on a normal basis. Of course, we crossed over to 150K mark just recently.
We've had
150K total views.
Some jam-packed episodes recently.
Oh yeah, and
jam-packed like a truck full of Mexicans in Texas. I'm gonna leave it at that. And I got a joke I would tell about that, but I don't want to get us picked off YouTube.
All right, so Socrates, you have to do your poem. Every time you're here, you have to do a poem. Right, so, just roll one off from the top of your head. The Socrates poetry.
I didn't do one on short notice tonight because I didn't know I was doing the show until like.
Yes, I called you at like 5:45 and was like, "Hey, Socrates, I need someone for the show." Yeah, you have a Rolodex of poems that you just pull out. Like it's like a big, like you ever see one of those file cabinet drawers? Yeah, like your brain does. Like you bend over, it shoots out of your asshole.
It's like
you just pick one out and.
It's like Mitt Romney's binders full of women. Anyway.
Jesus Christ.
Joe Biden, you know what it's like? It's like Joe Biden's notes that he has to have just to get through every speech. Number one, you enter the room. Number two, you sit down.
It's like how many times people, it's almost the amount that you could fit how many times people call Trump orange. Or said that he had small hands in like a little thing. So, but no. Anyway. So what poem do you have on store, Socrates?
I'm going to do one about my wrestling career.
Okay.
And it's called Saturday Night Slam Masters.
Okay.
Which is have you ever played? Remember that old arcade game? Did you ever play that game? It came out in
it
was a wrestling game.
It was an arcade game?
Yeah, it wasn't like WWE or anything affiliated. It had like its own wrestlers they made up. It was really cool.
Really?
In Ocean City at the arcade they had it.
Okay.
So it's a reference to that. But anyway, it's called Saturday Night Slam Masters. I'm on the road again, and I got a show tonight. We're laughing and we're joking and we're feeling all right. Don't know if I'm going to do the job or if I'm going to go over, but I got my medicine because I can't work sober. As soon as the first strains of Megadeth hit, all my worries unfurl. Because the ring is the only place I've ever really felt at home in the world.
Okay.
Oh, it's not done yet.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm taking a
okay.
pause.
Whoa, I thought, whoa, okay. Like there was that weird, subtle, like awkward pause that you had.
I had the belt. That's why I paused.
You had the belt. Oh, I'm sorry, but I had the burp.
We're back. Back to our originally scheduled program. Even if there's only 100 people there and I only make $20, I'm a pro wrestler, so I give no fucks. So when they put me in the ground, there's one thing I'll know for sure. Every time I stepped in that ring, I was the goddamn high priest of hardcore.
In no relations, the Pauly Shore. Oh man. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into one of the things that we're gonna talk about tonight, and that is.
But the first line. Oh, sorry to cut you off. The first line of that poem, like. It's just in my head. I'm picturing like you, me, and blood rolling down the road, just going to a show.
Yeah, we're just talking about sock puppet porn, and
making fun of you for being a smooth motherfucker.
And if no one gets that was the time when I narrowed my body from here down, like forward and back. And a little fun fact: if you've never narrowed yourself, do not leave it on too long because that shit will burn your flesh. And trust me,
much like me at a flaming table.
Yeah. Believe me when I tell you, I had some burned flesh. But no, like what we're going to do is we're going to get into one of the things we're going to be talking about tonight, and that is Socrates. Of course, I've drank a ton. Socrates,
I've had a couple beverages.
You've had beverages. You know, you've done.
I make Mike Blair look like I'm an amateur.
You've done a few narcotics yourself. So, have you ever seen someone create, or have you yourself created a weird, like I would say drunk or high game that sure. Like, because the one that stands out to me the most is that there was a party we were having and there was a blow up doll there. Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, someone poured Crisco on the dining room table and there was a back window and all you see is someone just like the Flash go across it and out the back window. And then the next thing you know, everybody was doing it after that. It was kind of like as soon as someone hit, somebody else was landing on top of it.
It was like a slip and slide.
It was almost like a trash chute, kind of. Right. Like, you know how you throw like things down a trash chute? You know, as soon as someone hit the ground, somebody else was hit. And I don't know because it was one blow up doll. So I don't know how the doll hit the ground and got passed back around and back into the house where it was probably just the thing that we were so drunk that we didn't, realize what was going on. But is there anything that you can recall that when you were high or you were drunk that like just a game that you kind of created?
God, we used to do one for the Royal Rumble every year where you'd have to chug a beer every time somebody came out. Whoever lasted the longest, just 30 guys. There was one year where I made it all the way to the end. I was the only one. And there was another we did. It was me, DJ, and our old friend Sam. There was an Iron Man match between Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle.
Jesus.
It was a 30-minute Iron Man submission match.
Okay.
So we had an Iron Man smoking match. For the entire Benoit Angle match, we had to smoke, nonstop for the 30-minute match. And after that match was over, we were done. We were over.
Jesus Christ.
And the one other one I got to mention that was funny. It wasn't really so much a game, but there was one time. This was like, God, I was like 21. We were all at DJ's apartment when he lived in Oak Grove. And I decided I was just going to go into his fridge and I was going to take everything he had in his fridge and mix it together in one drink. So here's what I can remember he had. He had multiple beers.
Okay.
Aftershock.
Oh, dude, no. Dude, just hearing Aftershock, my brain, like my body just literally just shut down. It stopped functioning. Like I have drank some rank ass shit. But Aftershock is one of the worst things I've ever drinking. Yes. Ever. Like, yeah. But oh my God.
Here was the list. Multiple beers, which I can't remember them all.
Okay.
Aftershock, Mountain Dew Code Red.
Okay.
Milk.
Jesus.
Some kind of fucking blackberry wine I had bought the night before that I put in there. And like 2 or 3 other things I can't remember. So I mixed it all in this big cup and I gave it to our friend Sam. I said, hey, Sam, drink this and let me know if you die. Because I wanted him to, he was like my guinea pig. I wanted somebody else to drink it before I did. So Sam takes like one sip of it. And I know I've told the story about Samu when he drank my whiskey and he just looked at me in disgust and he was like, how you drink that shit, brother? It was basically that. So Sam drinks like one sip of it.
Yeah, and we've said before, he said that because you bought like fucking $1 whiskey, and it was probably like the most horrible whiskey you've ever had in your life.
I used to go to the liquor store across the street from me every 3 days. It was $8.99, and it was a 1.75 liter, and I was an alcoholic.
1.75
yes, I was very economical.
It's almost like a liter of cola, but instead it's a liter of whiskey.
Canadian leaf.
Canadian leaf.
For this drink that I can.
It sounds like a submission move.
Yeah,
it sounds like the
half
counter.
crab that Lance Storm used to do.
The counter of the Texas clover leaf.
Oh,
but instead it's the Canadian leaf.
There was also Everclear in that drink that I made.
Oh.
Anyway, I finished.
Jesus Christ.
If anybody ever wants to doubt my credentials, I finished that cup. I finished the cup.
Dude.
And that's why I can't drink anymore now.
Like, dude, that reminds me of when we did Happy Hour TV. Not only like, and we're going to get onto the other thing what you're probably thinking of, but when we did Happy Hour TV, we at one point were you with us when we did the Easter egg shots of doom?
Yes, I was.
Oh my dude, that was the worst shit.
That was after I stopped drinking, so I was just like, you got to
watch everything. And the whole thing is what we did is we went out and bought a shit ton of those plastic eggs, and we wrote various shit down on there. It was either Aftershock or Sambuca or vodka, and then you added in milk, like Pedialyte, aftershave. You added in fucking Worcestershire sauce.
That's right.
You added in lemon juice, like just all of this nasty, rank shit. And what we would do is we would sit there and we wrote numbers on the eggs, and we all drew numbers. It was like a Royal Rumble drawing of numbers. And so what happened is when you started doing the Royal Rumble drawing of numbers, those numbers that you ended up with, you had to drink all of that shit. So I forgot who it was. Like, I actually lucked out. I got like a couple of, I think I got like 3 shots, and then I ended up with like, I think it was like Worcestershire sauce or something like that. Awkward Dan ended up with like milk, Aftershock, Crown Royal, Pedialyte, and what the hell? There was something else. Ketchup.
That's right.
He ended up with ketchup, and he had to do all this shit. And we're sitting there watching this just go south.
And Awkward didn't really even drink much at the time.
Well, we broke Awkward. Awkward used to never really be a drinker, and then we broke Awkward.
Well, he told me like he drank some when he was in the military, but then he stopped. But then once he started hanging with us, obviously he started again.
When we went to the Jersey Shore, oh my God. God. Like, it was fucking insane. But no, and I mean, that was kind of a spinoff when we did Happy Hour TV. That was kind of a spinoff of when we did the 12 shots of Christmas. And what
I did do, because I was still drinking at that point.
And what we did is the 12 shots of Christmas, we pretty much took anything that Dan had sitting around in the basement studio set, like bar that we had down there and that we built by hand, and we put them all in, we did 12 different various shots, and then we pulled out a fucking stopwatch. And how long was it? Was it?
I think it was a minute.
3 minutes.
Or was it?
I think
maybe like 2 minutes.
Was it 2 minutes? I remember it was something, and you had to do all 12 of those as quick as you could. And you remember Big John? Big John used to and I was like,
blood got through it too. Blood fucking killed it.
Like we did.
I mean, no, blood doesn't surprise me.
Oh yeah, we did that. And then one that we didn't create, which was fun too, is that we did the cinnamon challenge. Were you there for that?
Yes.
And our friend
Star
Mike
Trek became Puff
the Magic Dragon. And what happened is Star Trek, like if anybody out there remembers the Man Show, like the Man Show would pretty much, they had that old guy that could open his throat and chug his beer all the way to fuck down. And so Star Trek could do that. So what he did is he took like, what was it, like a measuring cup full of fucking what was it, shit, I just said it, cinnamon. Measuring cup full of cinnamon, and he just swallowed it right down. You just see him go, and then it came out. And I don't know, I don't know if you remember like those old school photos of ghosts, and they would have the ectoplasm come out of their mouths during seances and shit. Like, it literally fucking, we took a picture of him when he was bumping it, and it looked like fucking ectoplasm. It looked like a human was coming.
Like his soul was
like his soul was leaving. Like the trajectory of the fucking, like his soul was literally leaving his body.
You know what's
like
funny
when that happened?
Now he puts different things in his body, and I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave that one right there.
But hey, I mean, you know, that's the thing. If that's what he's into, hey, you know, and I mean, like, you know, hey, that's him. But no,
I was just talking
dude,
about this. You're talking about drinking,
like,
you know, Pickles Pub down there by the Oriole Stadium.
Yeah.
I went to a Good Charlotte show one time down at the stadium. What was like in between the, you remember the X Games they used to do?
Yeah.
Dew tour. Well, it was like the Dew tour, but I went to see Good Charlotte, so I stopped at Pickles Pub first, and there was like this random like guy and girl there who were going to the show. So they're like, come here and do shots with us. Which was the last thing I needed at the time. But I did all these shots, and I went to the show, and of course I drank at the show too because I'm me. And I drank so much, I went back to Pickles, and I was sitting outside because my mom was going to pick me up when we got done, and I fell asleep on the bench. That's how drunk I was. And then I woke up like an hour later, and I had no cell phone. This was like 2008, so I called her from a payphone. I'm like, "Shit, did you come by? I passed out on the bench." She's like, "No, I fell asleep too." I was like, "I'm going to come get you now." I'm like, "Oh, well, that's good." But it was one of those nights. They had porta potties right out there, right? Because the show was outdoor. It was basically between Camden Yards and the Ravens Stadium. So it was just a bunch of porta potties.
And you know what? And I think, and this is great. Like, I love this. Like, shout out to, and he joined us for Karen. Me and Matt were here for Karen Fisher, and you may remember this from Sarah J. But Felipe the Night Stalker, he is back again. Yes, he's here tonight from Brazil. Felipe the Night Stalker is in our chat thread, and he said he's been commenting. He's like, "Hello, guys, dudes, you know, whatever." And then he commented, "Happy Hour Pod, the best in the USA, better than Stern." I don't think I would go that far. Like, I know Felipe is probably here for Sage, for Sin Sage. And you know,
where is he from again?
He's from Brazil.
Okay.
And that's the thing. Like, he came in for Sarah J, and you know, he was acting like really like, you know, hey, I love Sarah J, and we had that ongoing joke of, oh, he's a Night Stalker. And then it was funny, like we had on Karen Fisher, and Karen Fisher was on there. I was like, "Oh, Felipe the Night Stalker's back." Shout out to Felipe. And then Erica Icon from the Rub PR, who got us hooked up with Karen Fisher, she literally commented, she's like, "Was he really a Night Stalker?" And I'm like, no. I mean, I don't know. He could be knifing a corpse right now. Like, he's like, I mean, I don't know.
He's like the hat guy, a porn star. He's at every show.
Yes. Oh, and there's our guest. Hello.
Hi, how's it
going? Of course, Sin Sage is joining us live right here on YouTube Live, and yes, he is kind of like the hat guy of porn. And Sin, you heard us a little bit before you came on the video. We're talking a little bit about when you've drank or you got high, or someone that you knew that some way created some sort of weird game. Like, have you ever been around, or like yourself created like any kind of weird, like we were talking about, I'm not sure if you were here for it, but we did the Easter egg shots of doom, which
that sounds fun.
Eggs, wrote numbers on them. It was like Worcestershire sauce, like like all kinds of, and we had to do them all consecutively. Have you ever seen like any kind of weird game that anybody's created, you know, in a high or drunk situation?
Yeah.
No, I think that like when I was a younger person, maybe we were just more interested in like getting fucked up than playing a game along with it. Like, the only game that I can think of is from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Charlie McDennis. But but yeah, I mean, you know, obviously I've played like a beer pong several times, all your standard ones, but not creative enough really to,
you know, to
this day, drinking game.
Yeah, to this day, if I have a party, beer pong is always always a part of it. We had a friend.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Our high school friend, he always had the high school parties, and beer pong was like his religion. I've seen someone cheat in beer pong, and I've seen him drive a screwdriver into their side for cheating at beer pong, because that's how committed to beer pong.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
like, I'm not sure if it's worth going to like jail over or prison for murder, but
it would be worth it, because he was the kind of guy who would start drinking on Thursday. We would pass out of his house. He'd kick you on Friday and be like, "Hey, you ready to start drinking?"
Like,
and if you said no, he sent you home. And then you would drink again. Wake up on Saturday. You ready to start drinking? No, we'll go home.
I've been awake since Thursday, and I've been drunk since 1989.
And Sen, of course, you have your own production company. You've been around for a long time. With having your own stuff compared to doing the mainstream stuff, do you like doing your own stuff a lot better, or do you like doing the mainstream stuff better?
It's an interesting question because there are just positives and negatives for both of those things, and they're like so extreme. So it's really like it would be very difficult for me to choose one over the other. So what I will say is that like making my own productions is amazing because I can decide what I want to shoot, who I want to make it with. I mean, even with mainstream, I'm still making those decisions, but it's thanks to the work that I do for myself now that I'm able to decide whether or not I want to do a mainstream production. Whereas prior to me having my own company and owning my own content, it was like, well, I need the money, so I'm going to go do the thing, whether I want to do it or not, kind of, I mean, I've never been in a situation where it's like, I have to do something I don't want to do. I've been very lucky and privileged in that way. But now it's like, well, if that doesn't pay as much as I think I deserve and they won't pay me more, then I can just say, well, I'm not going to do it then. Bye. Because I got my own shit,
Girl Scout. I'm going to go do my.
But so that part of it is great. But, the other part of my production company is that I produce custom videos. So there's like a little bit of added pressure on a shoot day because it's like, not only am I just being a performer, but I'm also being a director. I'm also the one with the script. So I'm like script supervisor. I'm explaining everything to other people who are involved and to my partner, who's my cameraman, my cinematographer. And so I just have to I have a lot of my mind making sure, like, did I do this for the right amount of time? Did I get in everything they asked me to get in? Like it's a lot more. But now I own that. So it's like, I have so much more freedom. So that part of it has been amazing. The income goes up a lot from when you're only performing for other people and they're paying you a fee for that performance. That's all you get. There's no residuals in this industry. I want to say that to the world as much as possible. Unless I own the content, I get like a one-time performance fee and that's it. So when I go to do those shoots, it's like I get to just sit in a chair, someone does my makeup, they hand me a script, I go over it, and then like I just get to do my thing. I just get to have sex with a gorgeous lady, and that's amazing for me. So it's like a little bit more relaxing and kind of easy. And then I do still get that paycheck, which is nice. But anymore, and for a lot of us who shifted towards more content creation and like owning your own OnlyFans and stuff like that, we're kind of like, we look at these mainstream productions more as like advertisement for our stuff. So it's like worth it for me, regardless of the paycheck. There's more payoffs because now I'm in something released by a bigger, more mainstream company. More people are going to see it. And hopefully those people are like, oh, that's Sinn Sage. Oh yeah, I wonder if she has the OnlyFans, or maybe I should Google her. And then my website pops up and then they see I make custom videos and they see I make my own movies that they can find, that they can't find anywhere else. So yeah, so like that's my, short answer.
Hey, I mean, I hear you, because I mean, that's the thing, like with this show, we don't get paid anything for it. I wish we did. But it's going to be a hot dog and a handshake, brother. That's what it's going to be. But
you get like ad revenue and stuff, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're starting to get a little bit into that now. And like, for example, Team Skeet, they asked us if we could review their new movie that they just released, Shoot Your Shot. So they're big fans of the show. So, we did that. And now we're just starting to incorporate little things in, and we're trying to take it, like we're doing local spotlights now, where we go out to local places and cover, music, just to try to get it more out there and all that. And of course, you do a lot of stuff with your husband. And your husband's name is Drake Manowar, which I read that. I was like, you know what? Me, like my background, 20 years in the wrestling business. I heard Drake Manowar and I was like, that's a pro wrestler name. Like 100%. Like I can see Drake.
Oh yeah, Drake Manowar
announced on AEW or WWE. And now is that, It could be legit, but is that his worker name or is that his legit? If his real last name is Drake Manowar, that is going to be the best thing I have ever heard in my life.
Well, here's the rule of thumb, Ray. His real name is actually Ray. My real name is Rachel. So at first we were really fighting against the Rachel Ray thing, but then we realized like it helps people remember our names. So we just leaned into it.
Nice.
But yeah, it's interesting about his name because isn't there a wrestler whose name is Manowar? I'm not even totally sure.
There was
right? Also a metal band named Manowar.
Yeah, there was a wrestler named, he was the Portuguese Manowar. It was Otto Montoya. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
as soon as I read that, I was like, oh man.
Yeah. So it's funny because I think a lot of people see Manowar and they think that we're talking about that he's indicating the Portuguese Manowar jellyfish.
Yeah.
But actually, he got his first name from Darkwing Duck because Drake Mallard, and then his last name he got from a famous racehorse from a long time ago who is named Manowar, and Manowar is actually the only racehorse that has been embalmed and buried. And when we were living on the road, we passed through.
He just gained a new fan.
Oh, good.
That's amazing.
Manowar was the horse that raced Seabiscuit in the famous.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did not. Oh man.
Yes, and so when we passed through Lexington, Kentucky, on our travels, there's actually this massive statue that they built for Manowar, and that is on top of where he's buried. So he's like the only horse to be embalmed and buried, and then he's got this great statue, and then as you walk around the statue there's all this information about Manowar and like his career and stuff, and he foaled like some of the most famous racehorses to ever race.
That's news to me, and that's cool because I didn't really know, like I know there's taxidermy stuff that goes on, but I never really knew that animals could be embalmed. Like that's something I never thought of. Like,
right. Well, you wouldn't really think of it. I think you would think like, oh, taxidermy, so my cat can always be with me, but not like preserving the bodies to bury underground like a human. I don't know. Yeah,
it's kind of like what we were talking about last week, like when people would sit there and they would display their dead loved one, and like you have this guy and he was a rapper and he was a DJ and he has his hands on like, you know, the records, the whole DJ stuff, but he's and you're sitting there, you're like, what? Like
they're experimenting with this thing for Alexa now, where you can have it like be the voice of like one of your dead relatives.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if that's cool or creepy.
Well, I will say that they made a fucking Black Mirror episode that is hauntingly similar to that story. So I feel like it's not a good thing. I feel like it's the thing where you're like, well, it's good for now, and then what happens after becomes a little toxic or something. Like, I don't think it's good.
Oh yeah. So you said you do a lot of custom videos. Like, what kind of requests do you get? Anything unusual? Any stories?
Weird stuff.
Anything weird? Anything that you were just
what's the weirdest request you've ever gotten? And I know one right here is that, of course, our good friend Felipe.
Because I might have a request.
Felipe is in Brazil. We call him the Night Stalker because he's like, I know that have some porn stars that have come to Brazil. So I think he's asking if you want to come to Brazil so he can pretty much be the Night Stalker. I don't know if he is the Night Stalker, but he comes in. He's a huge fan of the show, and he comes in whenever we have a doll film.
But, well, I mean, he's definitely not the Night Stalker because that guy died a while ago in prison. Yeah. So, but and then the other thing I want to say about my Brazilian fans is they are extremely passionate, and I'm so grateful for them all. I love them. But what I get all the time is, I love you, come to Brazil. And I'm like, Brazil is incredibly large country. It's massively huge. Yeah. Do you think I would go to Brazil and then like we'd hang out somehow or somewhere, or you'd run into me, or like how do you see that playing out? Yeah.
Remember the McDonald's we don't need to know. We'll hang out. Yeah. But that's the question. What is the strangest request you've gotten for a custom video?
Yes, of course. Yeah, so I get a wide variety of requests. I produce just about everything as long as it's like within my limits and it's not illegal and stuff like that. So, so some of the weirder ones, one of them was very weird to me. So the guy wants me and the other model to put on like lingerie and then have these Monster High dolls. So they're like little Barbies, but they're specifically to this Monster High cartoon show.
Oh, okay.
So
I've heard
two of those.
Yeah.
Yep. And then a bucket of soapy water, and then rubber like kitchen gloves, like dishwashing gloves.
Trying to visualize as you're saying that. I'm trying to visualize.
Yes, you got to visualize. So we have all that, and we're sitting in a room, and then I guess his thing with these dolls is that like they're people, but they're smaller. So we're giantesses, kind of. We're giants, and they get their sexual pleasure from having their hair like twisted and pulled on. But then we're also like slapping them and like punching them in the face,
like
and then like dunking them in the soapy water, and then pulling them out, and then like pulling on their hair and like being like, oh, you like that, don't you? You're gonna come? No, I'm not gonna let you come. Slap, like dunk back in the water. And it'd be one thing if that was like a 10-minute clip or 15-minute clip. That was a 30-minute clip that guy wanted of that. And then I guess he must have liked it so much that he got another one. And the second one was similar, but we were in a sink instead of a bucket. And then he wanted us to, and his words were roast eggs on the stove. So we like put an egg in a pan and we're like frying an egg. And I guess kind of like telling the doll like, oh, you smell that? Like you don't get to have any. And then like punching and slapping.
Bitch, you're gonna fucking pay for this.
Yeah, it was, and so that person was from Germany. And
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
that makes a ton of sense.
Yes. And I just felt like that's to me that has always stood out as one of the most unique and interesting types of custom videos that I've had ordered from me. But most of, I would say like a lot of jerk off instruction videos. And one thing that I did a video for someone about 6 or 7 years ago, and for someone else. And it was just my face looking in the camera and telling them we're going to play like a JOI game. And like when my eyes are like, look into my eyes this whole time. And I'm saying like, jerk it, stroke it, whatever. And then when I close my eyes, you have to stop. And so like, it was playing a game like that. And for some fucking reason, I think that person ended up putting it on like YouTube or something. And so many people saw that clip. And then I hear about it probably like once a week from a fan who's just like, oh, this clip with your eyes and your face, can I get one like that? And just like how many times you jerked off to it.
You know you weren't supposed to put that on YouTube, right?
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Here's what you do. You do another one like that, but you do it in VR. That would blow somebody's fucking mind.
Yeah,
like,
I would.
Somebody's head would fucking explode.
I know, but the technical aspect of VR, unfortunately, is that a 10-minute clip is like 20 gigs of space.
It's a lot.
It's just a little too much for me to produce myself, but
yeah. And in that hand, how many crazy fan experiences have you had?
Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna tell you. So it's been a long time, and like you may or may not know, I work exclusively with women. I always have my whole career, aside from my partner from about we got together about 11 years ago. Otherwise I work only with women. And so the wild thing about that is that I have tons of fans of all genders, I'm sure, and I know, but I hear the most from female fans. And all of my negative encounters have been women.
Wow.
I've
really
never had a man like stalk me or harass me or no, but I have had women try to destroy my life and my mental health.
Really?
Like absolutely destroy me. And cause me severe mental health issues and disturbances that I previously did not have in my life. So so my crazy fan encounters, they're not like lighthearted and silly and fun. They are dark and terrible.
All right. Well, since that went off track a little bit, what we're going to do is get into one of our drunken rambling news articles, which this one is: man divorces wife for cooking instant noodles every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So this says that a judge said that a man divorced his wife for cooking him instant noodles every day for every meal. During a news conference, M.L. Raghunath, a principal district sessions court in India, presented what he called a Maggie case, according to Insider. The husband said that his wife did not know how to prepare any food other than Maggie noodles. It was noodles for breakfast, noodles for lunch, and noodles for dinner. He explained that his wife went to the provision store and bought only instant noodles. So at this point, how many noodles will it take? Like, how many feedings of noodles would it take before you would be like, I just can't do this anymore?
Depends how hot it is. I mean, let's be honest.
I mean,
well, I have an opinion. I have an opinion about the story. If said man did not enjoy what his wife was providing for him to eat, did he not have legs or an ability to go to the store and get the things he wanted and cook for himself? Like, no, instead he had to divorce his wife. But it sounds like their relationship must not have been very solid if they lack so much in these very basic, simple areas of communication.
Yeah,
it's like self-reliance.
It's amazing some of the stories that we dig up. Like I'll hear them somewhere or I'll see them online. I'm like, man, I want to talk about these. But have you ever seen the stuff where people have taken instant noodles and they've repaired stuff with them? Have you ever seen
repaired things?
Yes, they take the instant noodles, look up repaired with instant noodles, and there are videos that exist of some guy made a guitar out of instant noodles. Like he took a grinder. And then he like put like what is it? What's that shit that you coat like if you were to put baseball cards under a bar thing, you put that shit
epoxy resin.
He put it over all that and it was smooth and it was all noodles. Some guy took it and put it on the side of his sink. He repaired his sink and like sanded it down and it was all smooth and he painted over it. It's like, could you imagine buying a house and you're like having sex with your wife in the bathroom and you grab the sink and it just breaks off and you just look at it, it's fucking instant noodles like just in your hand and you're just kind of like, wait a minute. Where else are these noodles? Why?
If you eat enough of that shit, you have to repair your asshole.
I mean, that guy probably
doesn't work for that. That's the question.
No, definitely look up
if
repaired.
If your wife fixes it for dinner every time,
I will.
Yeah, doesn't work repairing your butt. That's the question.
Look up repaired with instant noodles, and you will see like all kinds.
Yeah, here's a question. Stuff. After that guy divorced that chick, I wonder if she went on like Tinder and she had a profile and her first thing was must like ramen noodles.
Yeah. You got to put that out there. You know, you really got to.
Oh, you gonna cook some noodles for me?
Beforehand. So people know what they're getting into.
Yeah, we'll make noodles, but sex is fire.
Was she at least switching it up and doing like the different brands?
You know how they have like
they got like the spicy ones.
Yeah, they have the orange pack, they have the red pack,
the shrimp, the shrimp,
the shrimp, the beef, the chicken.
Exactly. Which all pretty
that
much
was breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Exactly.
The shrimp, the beef, the chicken. Breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Balanced diet.
Blue pack is the best though.
What is it?
The blue pack is the best though.
I don't think. I don't think the blue pack. I don't see that as much here.
You don't.
I always see red and orange. In Maryland, you always see red and orange.
No, wait, what flavor is the blue?
Yeah, what flavor is the blue?
Well, it used to be called Oriental flavor, and now it's called soy sauce flavor.
That's right. Yeah,
okay.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. See, with that, do you like the ones that you put in a pot and cook yourself, or do you like the cups of noodles? Because I prefer the cups.
I feel like the cups are like easier and more convenient in a multitude of ways, and they have this kind of nostalgia flavor from childhood that I enjoy. But I think the ones that you make out of the packet they taste better.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though it's all like literally wax and cardboard, I think. Obviously, since it repairs things so well. But This still tastes good.
Yeah, I was weird when I
Only
make
on the Happy Hour podcast will you get a discussion like this about ramen
Well, I
noodles.
mean, that's the thing. Like, my wife thinks I'm weird because she makes the instant noodles in the pot. You know, she does the whole 9. I do, but when I make mine, like for some reason, it's weird. Like I can have the noodles be fully soft. Like they need to have like a little bit of hardness to them.
Oh, you like al dente?
Hard noodles in your
Yeah,
mouth.
yeah, I like the hard. Yeah, yeah.
You'll eat them raw, like.
Yeah,
You like that?
You eat them raw, they're crunchy.
I hate that. I see people do that shit all the time. I think it's gross.
Kind of like spaghetti. When you make spaghetti, you break them in half. You
Right.
always I always chomp
yeah, I
onto
do
a
that.
spaghetti
Yeah.
before I throw it in the pot or whatever.
It's like when you're making.
I never do that ever.
She's like, all right, I'm done.
I've never in my life done
Weird ass.
I'm hungry. I'm in the mood for some ramen noodles now. Like tonight, that's gonna be what I have tonight. Literally, that's gonna be what I have.
Now, what scene do you think that you've done that you feel was one of the most challenging scenes?
that.
Is
One of
there
the most
anything that comes
challenging?
right to the, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Probably anytime they make you fuck on something that you wouldn't normally fuck on, you know. So if you're not on like a couch or a bed or like a carpeted floor.
Like an inflatable
Oh, I
swan,
know.
something like that.
Yeah, I have actually fucked on an inflatable swan.
Yes. Nice.
Do you not?
Ray did his research. We know now. Ray did his research.
That was right off the top of the head for some reason. I think it was like
That worked. Look at that. See, it's a
Yeah,
connection.
yeah.
This is a reminder we're all connected.
Yeah.
So actually, I do remember one of my most challenging scenes, and it took place on a pool table. And on that pool table, there was like a low hanging, you know, those lights that are over the pool table that
Oh yeah, the
are
bar
kind of
lights. Yeah, the
lower
bar light, yeah.
because they're over the pool table and they're like, no one's going to be like climbing up on this pool table to hit their head on this light. So there was that. There was the fact that I was working with someone who was very new and they had boundaries that were not discussed with me beforehand. And also that I feel, you know, and everyone can have their boundaries and I will always respect them. But when you, but I will just be an asshole for a minute and say, when you work doing girl scenes, you know, you don't want to be doing the same things over and over and over again. You want to be like, I go down on you, now you go down on me, now we trib and the scene is over. Sorry, now we scissor for people who don't know the word tribbing. So, you know, so then we want to throw in like some ass eating with some fingering and like, you know, stuff like that. And also on side note, on top of that, like I love eating ass. So it's action and we start doing the scene and I had like turned her around and I'm like kissing down her body and like kissing her butt. And like I go to spread her cheeks and she like puts her hands down on the table and she's like, I do not do anal. And I was like,
well, thanks for telling me now.
okay. And then I was looking around because like the people in the crew, like I had worked with them hundreds of times already. So I'm kind of like, did I miss something here? So part of me was like, I wasn't about to fuck you in the ass, I promise. I was just going to lick your butthole a little bit. Like I wasn't even going to try to stick my tongue in. My tongue is so short.
I do not have a pool cue in my hand.
I don't even have a ball in my hand. Like I was totally going to leave you that all alone. I was just going to give it a nice couple kisses and licks. So already like that caught me by surprise and like kind of threw off my mojo a little bit. And so I already was like not in a great mood. And I felt like the premise of the scene already was a little like stupid, but whatever, I'm going to do it because it's my job. And then like get on the table to try to trip this girl. And like, you know, she's not super receptive in the scene with me. So that's a little frustrating. Get on the table to trip her. My head hits that fucking light. And like, I swear to God, like I looked over at my director who was my friend, I'd worked with her before. And I swear I looked at her and like, you could just see like I almost started crying. I was like this fucking close to just like bursting out into tears and being like, I can't do this. So that was, you know, it was a difficult location. It was a difficult scene partner. There was a lack of communication, and stuff like that is what makes scenes difficult to shoot and days hard. But you know, it's also like a learning experience for me. And so I'm not going to say it started that day forward, but it is like I learned to become more mindful. And nowadays we all talk about what we're going to do beforehand. We all sit down, like I'm sitting there across from the person I'm about to do a sex scene with. And I'm like, so what do you like? What do you hate? Like, make sure to tell me so I don't do the thing you don't want me to do, you know? And I'm not even the first one like to start that. Sometimes I'll sit to work with someone else and they'll say it to me first. I'm like, fuck yeah, like this is a good place that we've all found ourselves in, I think, with consent talks and how important those things are.
Yeah. And, it's funny because with that, it's like with pro wrestling, you talk a lot of stuff out in the back. And there's so many times that you talk shit out and then you forget it as soon as you go out there, or you'll talk it out, you'd be like, yeah, this and this, and this. And then you're in the ring and you're sitting there and you have the guy in the headlock. You're like, all right, we're going to go to this spot. And he's like, I don't know how to do that.
And you're like, oh shit, we got to do something else.
Kidding me? Like, we just talked about this for 10 minutes in the back. Why are you telling me right now? You don't know how to, it's like, all right, well,
now we're performing live. Yeah. And I know I'm not sure if you knew this about me, but I've also done wrestling content for almost my entire career too.
Really?
Oh, really?
Awesome.
Yeah.
have you ever done any of it in like an actual ring or anything like that?
Of course. Oh yeah, lots and lots.
Nice. Now when you did it in the ring, was it like one of the actual like professional wrestling rings that had like the cross metal beams with the cross boards on it and about like that much padding, and then you're like, oh
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in like backyard wrestling rings, but they're professional rings. I mean, they're not like put up like, we're not throwing trash cans at each other. Like they're real rings. But then I've also wrestled on real rings that were like in like boxing wrestling studios where we were able to rent space to shoot in them and stuff. So
nice. And when you did the backyard rings, this kind of touches before you came on with us. Did any of those guys have pyro? Because Socrates, before he was a professional, once did backyard, and a guy had his own pyro, and I was like, how in the fuck did he
are you saying pyro, like the fire that goes on?
Yeah, like his own fireworks or whatever. Yeah. No. And I told him, I was like, could you imagine that? Like the guy just sits there, he ties like all like, the wicks together and they all go off and he comes out like Goldberg, but instead he's being hit with Roman candles.
Ow.
I went up to Rhode Island and checked out the Great White Show. It was a good time.
Yeah. Sad.
So with that, with the wrestling stuff, have you heard of any doing any of that?
Any injuries doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, not from that. I've had some very major serious injuries, but not from wrestling ever. Oh, I mean, I did take a knee to the eye once, and so that lasted way longer than it should have.
How did you suffer the injuries that you got, the bad ones?
So in 2009, I was snowboarding and I didn't wear a helmet back then. And I fell on a particularly flat, icy area and I hit the back of my head and I got a traumatic brain injury. They had to put me in a coma. I had a hole drilled into my skull and that was the whole thing. And then, 2015, it wasn't an injury. It was just, so my body didn't grow right at some point, I guess. And my hip joint was all messed up and I had to get a total hip replacement on my left hip joint. So Jesus. Yeah.
And what we're going to do another quick news article read, and then we're going to do a couple of ads, and then we're going to get into our games. So what we're going to do is this one is pretty much a tale of 31 burgers. Apparently, my 2-year-old.
So we're going from ramen noodles to burgers.
Yes. So apparently, my 2-year-old
good. I love
knows
food.
how to order DoorDash. And it says Kelsey Golden was playing with her 2-year-old son Barrett on her front porch last week when a DoorDash driver pulled into her driveway. The delivery woman climbed out of the car and held up a large paper sack. "Your 31 cheeseburgers?" she asked. Golden, 36, said that she was sure the driver had the wrong house. I stared at her for a few seconds. I was like, I don't think that's for me. And then she took a close look at the receipt and it had her name and address on it. That's when she realized that that her toddler had used her cell phone to mistakenly order 31 cheeseburgers from the McDonald's in Kingsville, Texas, about 6 miles from her house. The cheeseburgers cost $61.58, but the total was $91.58 after app fees and a $16 tip. She said, and he doesn't even like cheeseburgers. Barrett prefers chicken McNuggets. Well, you know what? He would have liked cheeseburgers that day because it's like, Barrett, guess what? All of these cheeseburgers are now yours.
You will eat these cheeseburgers.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, could you imagine that? Like, I don't like, especially McDonald's burgers. Yeah. Like, they're so greasy. They're God.
Good, but they're so like, greasy.
I've always said that, like, you eat McDonald's and it like flushes your system. Like, you know, I couldn't even imagine eating more. Like, there's sometimes if I'm at work and it's a hot day and I've worked my ass off, I'll stop at McDonald's. So I get 2 McChickens and two cheeseburgers, and then after that I feel like I'm literally gonna die. Right. So I can't eat a whole bunch of Popeye's chicken.
It's great while you're doing it.
It does have that effect.
Yeah. Not so much. It's like, but no, like, I mean, imagine that, like, now that he knows how to do that, like, I hope that the kid, now that he knows how to order on DoorDash, like, he just types in random numbers for random things. Like, next time, you know, she gets like 16 things of like Parmesan chicken or something just delivered to the house. No, Barrett, damn it.
A whole truckload of ramen noodles.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, there you go.
It also goes to show, don't let your kid like lock apps on your phone. If you don't like
that would be rule number 1.
It's almost like when kids get on and order like a bunch of games, like they're on like your Xbox Live or something. And they buy like
it's the same.
$1,000 worth of games.
You can't let your kids have, you know, you're just going to hand your kid your phone and be like, hey, just play and have fun with it, you know, or like, oh, you want the phone? Fine, shut up. Here, take it, you know? And so, I mean, if that's your motivation, maybe you deserve $60. I don't know.
A kid orders a custom Sinn Sage video on the phone. Like, you sit there and you're like, wait a minute, like, this video is very good, but I did not buy this. Where did it come from? Okay, let me just go back to watching.
Well, eating my 31 cheeseburgers. That's a party right there.
And what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to some of our friends. And real quick, we're going to take a little 3-minute break, and we will be right back with Sinn Sage right here, Sinn Sage right here on the Happy Hour podcast. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, and we have a little bit of ads we're going to play. We're going to run those, and we'll be right back, everybody.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy Young Zuck, and we are live right now on the Happy Hour podcast. Thank you guys for having me tonight. Make sure you guys go tune in. Much love always.
In a world full of hunger and thirst, one restaurant will attempt to satisfy these cravings forever. Meet our hero, the Cheeseburger, and his salty partner, Crab Dip Tater Tots. Together, with local craft beer, they take the fight to hunger. With a special appearance by Cupcake Milkshake, they... Vagabond Sandwich Company. Better making food than making commercials.
There's so many cute girls here. Go talk to them.
I don't know how to talk to these girls.
Here's some pickup lines. Go use them.
All right, I guess I'll give it a whirl. Hey.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, donut?
Hell yeah, dude. I'm fucking starving. You read my mind.
So, did you ask her out yet?
You're kind of got in the middle of it.
What's up, Penelope?
Hi.
You know, I've been working on this pitch, right? And it wouldn't hurt having one of the office brightest minds tell me what they think.
Mondays, huh?
Yeah. I wanted to talk to you about your performance. Usually, you're one of my star players. And is it that Penelope girl you've been talking about?
Penelope doesn't like you.
Yep.
So you're not even paying attention to me.
Go be the main character of your own story.
Ready to have some fun, huh? You ready?
Why do you have all of your stuff?
Oh, hey, Penelope.
Hi. I hope you are as excited as I am about this presentation. Oh, yes.
All time, right? Team Skeet, got it.
Hello, My name is Bubba Almany. I am a bodyguard who has been in the security industry for over a decade. My team and I offer a variety of security services that cover all aspects of security operations. We have secured some of the highest profile clients and largest events in the world. Should your situation require armed protection, we have the ability to carry in all 50 states and U.S. territories. Not only do we have the latest security equipment, we also have world-class training. We look forward to assisting all of your security needs by bringing you the finest and most dedicated security personnel available. From the Office of the President of the United States to local county and state dignitaries, my tactical dignitary protection officers are the tip of the spear in this extremely competitive industry. Let my highly trained staff protect the asset today. We can be contacted via the email and number below. Thank you.
Hey, it's me, Natasha Nice, and you guys are watching the Happy Hour podcast.
Right, there we go. There's a shout out to some of our buds, of course, Vagabond Sandwich Company, Team Skeet, and our good bud, celebrity bodyguard, Bubba Almany, and Team Skeet sent us that Safe for Work trailer they sent us, so we're hoping that it was safe enough for work. If not, we'll find out via YouTube if it will be. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to get into our games. So
Awesome.
Pretty much one of our games that we play is Incoherent. Have you ever heard of Incoherent?
Nope.
All right, so let me get these ready. It's a series of cards, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cards up on the screen, and they're going to be in like a drunken, that like pretty much if you were to say them drunk, that's the way that they appear up on the screen. So let me just go ahead and get these ready, and we will rock and roll with that. Boom, boom, boom.
And then I have to try to decipher what the actual word is.
Yep, exactly. So let me just get this ready for the share screen, and then boom, boom. All right. So once this nonsense at the top pops away, I'll make that full screen.
Oh man.
And from this one right here, what do you think that says?
Bisexual.
And there's also a couple hints on the back.
Okay. I imagine I'm gonna need those hints.
So the first hint is group sex.
I figured there was something sexual. Eggs-tual, bisexual, sexual orgy, something sexual orgy.
The quintessential variety pack.
Essential variety pack. Orgy. A bisexual orgy?
Yes.
Woo! Okay.
All right, so there's that one. So let me go ahead and
The only kind of orgies there should ever be.
and let me go ahead and get this one ready. And let's see if you will get this one. There's that one right there. So what do you think that one says?
All right. Obviously, this one also has a sex thing in it, but I'm going to need a hint.
All right. One of the hints is exhibit.
Exhibit?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a legitimate question. The rapper or like the word exhibit that you might go see one?
Yes, like the one you'll go see, like an exhibit.
Okay. Museum. Oh, sex museum.
Yes. And the other hint was the only museum you've been to since your parents drugged you, the one when you were younger. So sex museum. All right,
I like museums, but I did go to the one in New York, the sex museum in New York. That was really cool.
I want to go to what's it called? The Mussers or the Mutters Museum?
The Mutter Museum. I've been to that too in Philadelphia. Yeah, it's very cool. But make sure you get there early enough to explore everything.
Yeah,
I'm not a morning person, so
I think I might actually reach out to them for our sub show, our web show, Fully Fermented, and see if we can actually go out there and do
do
like
an episode.
yeah, it's like a kind of like what is it, like anatomical, like
it's like a weird medical museum, so like medical anomalies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my wife's been there before. She went when she was younger. And fortunately, she hasn't been back yet because I've always wanted to go. And I was like, man, like, it sounds bad.
And where are you all? Are you in Jersey?
I'm in Baltimore. So
You're in Baltimore.
Yeah, so we're not far.
So it's not even that far. You could go. Just pick a weekend and take a trip.
I also want to go to the Spy Museum, the International Spy Museum, which is in DC. That looks
that's cool. Out here in Vegas, we have a mob museum.
I saw that when we were in Vegas, but we didn't stop there. We did go to the Madame Tussauds that was up there, and I got into trouble because I was drunk off my ass and took like all kinds of like inappropriate photos with the wax museum with the wax sculptures and all that.
Do they stop people from doing that?
Well,
That's
that was like 2018, I think, and I was just blown away on how you could just walk down the strip in Vegas and just drink beer. So I had my backpack.
Pretty great, right?
Beer that I was just downing the whole entire time.
Oh, yeah.
The best Taco Bell I've ever had in my life was in Vegas at Taco Bell Cantina. So yeah, it was fun. We enjoyed it. We definitely want to get up again. So here, let me go ahead and pull up another one of these for you, the last and final one, and see if you can guess this. And what we can do is in the future, if we ever do another HHPod Rumble, we can invite back Sinn because she's very good at this game. Like for our 100th episode, we did we brought back 30 former guests, and if you've ever watched the Royal Rumble for pro wrestling, we did a Royal Rumble style elimination game that featured these cards, and it was won by Johnny Goodluck. So we actually had a championship belt made up and sent it to Johnny Goodluck as a reward. So if you happen to run into him at a convention and he has the belt, get a picture with the belt. We would love
to do that. Well, I think I might want that belt. So.
Well, we're going to probably be doing another one next year, so we'll reach out to you in case you want to do that. It was fun. It was 2 hours, 30 people who had nothing in common, just all playing games together.
Train wreck, but in a good way.
And is this one already up? I think.
Yep.
All right. So what do you think this one is?
Well, it's obviously naked photos.
that was an easy one. So hints were no clothes and a formal way of saying nudes. So
they're all like sex related.
Well, I mean, hey. But it's funny because normally, like, we'll play this game with people. And we have had people bomb hard at this game. Yeah. And then I was like, all right, well, we'll do this for the Rumble. And then when we did the Rumble, people were like, what happened? This is why I chose this game.
It's I think at first it's a little more intimidating, but as I thought, I was worried I wouldn't be able to get the first couple, but as I spoke it out loud and just kept saying it and manipulating the way I said it, I was like, oh, now it's obvious.
That's what I tell people all the time, because we will hear the guest say it and they don't realize
but they don't hear saying it. They're saying it.
Yeah. Oh, my wife's killer at that game. Like, we'll sit there and I will put, and she'll bam, 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 bam. Our comedian friend Tommy Simbazo, there was one that said throwing a hot dog in a hallway, and no one else knew what it was, and he got it in like 2 seconds. And we're like, what the hell just happened right now? Like,
well, they're all like naughty too. Then,
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And what we're gonna do is, that was our Incoherent game. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move into Cards Against Humanity Roulette. So now, have you played Cards Against Humanity?
Good Lord. I'm like, if you can find a way to make this game interesting again, I am all for it.
All right. So obviously you don't have a deck of cards in front of you. So what we do is, one of our comedian friends suggested that we read off the subject card, and then you pick a random number between 1 and 6. And that's what's going to answer that card. And you get 1 rebuttal. And then those cards go into the second round and get mixed in with the other cards and see what we come up with. So the first one is, what really killed the dinosaurs? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And even 6. What do you think? What number are you feeling is a lucky number?
6.
6. All right, so 6. What killed the dinosaurs? Vikings. So are you satisfied with Vikings, or do you want to choose another card?
Since I don't think that's very funny, I'll probably choose another card, I guess.
All right, so 1 through 5.
2.
2. All right, so 2. All right, so 2 is the unstoppable tide of Islam is what killed the dinosaurs.
Oh man. Okay.
Now,
and who's I'm trying to make laugh with this, or
no, it's just completely at random. You're just drawing them completely at random. And
all right.
If you find one that you like.
What if it was Islamic Vikings?
That seems more likely, yeah.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these to this one, and then the second round you're going to pick. Actually, since Socrates is here, I'll have Socrates choose a number, and you're going to choose a number because it's a draw 2.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to add these to this, mix those up a little bit.
Wait,
and
what were the other answers for that dinosaur? You never said?
Now we're going to start adding them into the other one.
Okay,
Then that way you get more options. So today on Mythbusters, we find out how long blank can withstand blank. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 1 through 11. What do you think?
Okay, 1 through 11. Let's go with 9.
9. All right. And Socrates, what about you?
I'll do 3.
3. All right. So 3. So today on Mythbusters, we find out how long the shambling corpse of Larry King can withstand shapeshifters. So are either of you satisfied with those, or do one of you two or both of you want to choose another?
I think we should do another one.
You want another one, Psycho? Or
Yeah, I think so too.
all right. And then Shambling King, Larry Shambling corpse. I can't.
They're just trying to say zombie Larry King. That's zombie Larry King is the thing.
Yes. And now there's 9. So what do you think? 1 through 9.
7.
7. All right. So 1, 2, 3. All right. So there's that. And Socrates, what about you?
5.
5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So today on Mythbusters, we find out how long a magic hippie love cloud can withstand a vagina that leads to another dimension.
That one is so much better. I think that's the best one. That's the best one of those ever of all time. That's the best combination of all time.
And then now what we're
throw it away. It will never be. He'll never beat that.
I've got a few that led to another dimension now.
Now with those two, we're going to have you ad-lib these cards. So what do you think? What really killed the dinosaurs?
What really killed the dinosaurs? I am not a comedian, unfortunately.
This is what makes this fun. It puts you on the spot. You're like,
yes, but I mean, maybe just going off of the unstoppable force of Islam or something like that.
The unstoppable tide of Islam.
Yeah, let's just change Islam to religion. Okay. And that will be my answer.
Well, it was the giant meteor in the Yucatan Peninsula, but even before that, they were starting to be phased out because mammals were starting to become more prevalent.
Oh, I mean, so now you're going to be a historian. This is where it's going to
explain it.
I like that.
Here's another question. Did you know this? The T-Rex is actually
random facts with Socrates.
The T-Rex is closer in time to humans than it is to the Stegosaurus.
Yes, isn't that interesting? I love that. I love little factoids like that.
Well, Socrates is full of them. Like I said,
well, I was going to say his name is, what is it? Socrates. Socrates. I mean, yes. He's got that philosophy, obviously.
Yeah, it was his gimmick name in pro wrestling. And then he got really drunk one day and decided to legally change it to Socrates.
Legally changed it even. Wow.
Yes. And then he told his mother only to refer to him as Socrates.
It was funny at the time.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. So now you guys are each going to choose an answer for the second card. So Sinn's
Okay.
going to go first, and then Socrates. So today on Mythbusters, we find out how long blank can withstand blank. What do you think, Sin?
We find out how long Ray's butthole can withstand.
All right, Socrates.
What was our answer again?
How long Ray's butthole can withstand?
Oh, wow. A drunken Mike Star check.
A drunken Mike.
If you get it, you get it.
All right. Well, that was our Ode to Humanity segment, and of course, we're running on time, probably about like another 12. We did it earlier, but I was
on the pre-show, right?
Yeah, on the pre-show, of course. Shout out to our featured
Fuji.
drink this week, Original Sin, which makes sense. Stage one, Original Sin Fuji unfiltered cider. So that's what the can looks like.
Ooh,
Go out
yum.
and grab some. And of course, I almost forgot.
What about the
Our
liquor of the week?
featured shot, which is 10 high whiskey, which is slowly going down. I hope you're glad to get rid of this. And so what I'm going to do is, in tradition, I'm going to pour this over the laptop because that's just what our tradition is. And pray not for anything bad to happen. So there we go. Shout out to 10 high. And this is our current featured shot. Oh, man. Jesus.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. So, Sen, what all do you have coming up? Like, any new scenes you have coming up, and
Anything you want to plug?
anything coming new for Sin Siege?
Yeah, I would love to plug the most recent feature film that my studio released. It's called Sinn and Drake's Strap-On Threesomes. So there are 4 full-length scenes, and it is my partner and myself, and I wear a strap-on in the scene. So it's really like, in porn, we call them like a boy girl, a boy girl, a girl girl. So it is boy girl girl, but it's also kind of boy girl in the sense that I've got my dick on, so changes the dynamic a little bit. And it's
You have
really,
my attention.
yes, and I am wearing the strap on is one of my kind of like specialties, things that I'm known for. I love doing it. I very much connect with it. And so in our personal life, we like to have a lot of threesomes. If people want to sleep with us and we want to sleep with them, we are fucking down. So one time we were doing that, and my husband actually went and got the strap on from the other room and brought it into the room and was like, "Why don't you put this on?" And I was like, "That is a great idea. Thank you." And so I did. And so then I was fucking our guest while he was fucking me. And I was like, I've only thought this was possible to dream of. I did not realize this could be reality. So
I am imagining that in my mind, and it sounds glorious.
It is.
Yes.
It's amazing. And because like he and I have such a really incredible connection and sexual chemistry and romantic chemistry, we're able to do it like with each other, with the other partner in such just this really awesome way. And so we do that a few different times in this movie. And we do a couple of DP scenes in this movie. So, and really, I think a lot of boy girl threesomes focus a lot on like the man's cock, and it's all about like the dude gets to put his dick in 2 girls or whatever. But the dynamic of this movie is much more about like my partner and myself like giving all the attention to the female third, and just really everybody like enjoying their sexuality and their gender expressions and all this good wonderful stuff in a very like down to earth way. So hopefully it's something that not just, a certain audience can enjoy, but like couples can enjoy, women can enjoy. Yeah.
Fun for the whole family.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do. I feel like a big part of like what I stand for and like my brand as Sin Sage is a lot of like inclusiveness and like diversity of expression. And I want people to not feel shame, and I want people to be inspired to like do the things they want to do without shame. Like that's a huge part of sort of my mission. So I feel like this movie is really a good little expression of that. So,
and with
so
that,
please go see it, or please go. No, it's not playing in any theaters yet, but you can go to my website.
Theaters Friday.
It's sin-sage.com is my website, and you will find it there, along with information about ordering a custom video and all sorts of other projects I'm working on and stuff like that. Interviews and podcasts that I do are there. All that. I'm very accessible all over the internet.
And, before you go, have you ever used the dick saw? And have you used it on both women and men?
So you're talking about what's basically like a drill. It's like a power drill that goes in and out.
Sawzall with the dick on the edge. It is the dick saw. Well, I don't know what the technical name for it is, but I call it the dick saw.
Yeah. No, I do not own one of those things. And I did a shoot one time for kink.com for device bondage where I subbed, which I don't normally do that. Yeah. And yeah, they had me like with my legs up over like this with my back against the wall, like so I was kind of like resting on my neck, and they mounted one of those to the wall and had a remote for it, and it was like fucking me like that. And it started out uncomfortable, and then I kind of like had to pee, and I asked them if I could break to pee, and they were like, no, just like pee in the video, it'll look really good. And I was like, okay. So then, but then she turns it up like all the way, and it's going like, I'm like, I cannot pee. I'm trying. It's impossible. And I actually
get back in.
So I actually called Red, which I don't normally do that, but I couldn't take it.
I know what I'm watching tonight.
Oh my God. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get ready to wrap up here on the Happy Hour podcast. Of course, we will be back here again next week. We're going to be back at 6:30 start time. Chuck Armstrong, he's the CEO for Wonderama. It's a children's show, so it's going to be interesting talking to him, see how that works out.
The other end of the spectrum, what we had tonight.
Yes, the other end of the spectrum. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and wrap up on YouTube Live. Sin, can you hang out for just 1 second once we're done? Awesome.
No
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, of course, Felipe the Night Stalker also, in our live. Yeah, shout out to Felipe. He joins us every week from Brazil.
Trying to get the monkey box.
And shout out to everybody in Brazil and all over. And
you know how monkey boxes spread, right? I'm just saying.
And ladies and gentlemen, we will see you guys next week. All right. So that's done on